The forest burned like a living nightmare, flames licking at the blackened trees, crackling and roaring as they devoured everything in their path. Smoke curled into the night sky, blotting out the stars, turning the world into a suffocating furnace. Paramedic Jack Connors gripped the steering wheel of the ambulance tightly, his knuckles white as he navigated the narrow road through the fire-ravaged landscape. Dispatch says they lost contact with Engine 47 15 minutes ago, Emily Davis, his partner, said, her voice tense over the roar of the inferno outside. Last known position puts them somewhere deep in Sector 4. Jack nodded, his jaw clenched. We'll find them. They had to. Firefighters were family, brothers and sisters who put their lives on the line every day. Losing one of their own was unthinkable. When they reached the designated coordinates, the scene that greeted them was unsettling. Engine 47 stood abandoned in the middle of the dirt road, its emergency lights still flashing in the thick smoke. The side door hung open and hoses lay discarded on the ground, water still trickling from their ends. Nearby, helmets and jackets were scattered in the ash like forgotten relics. But there was no sign of the crew. Emily grabbed the radio from her vest, her voice shaking. Engine 47, do you copy? This is EMS Unit 9. We're on site. Where the hell are you? Static. Jack took a cautious step forward, the heat pressing against his skin. They wouldn't just leave their rig, he muttered, scanning the area with his flashlight. The beam cut through the smoke, illuminating empty charred forest, shadows dancing unnaturally at the edges of the fire's glow. He swallowed hard and called out, "Hey, anyone here?" Silence. No voices, no footsteps. Just the relentless roar of the fire in the distance. They searched for hours. Jack and Emily moved deeper into the woods, following the trail of scattered equipment. Oxygen tanks, an axe half buried in the ash, a radio lying shattered in the dirt. Each discovery made the knot in Jack's stomach tighten. They couldn't have gone far, Emily whispered, her eyes darting around nervously. Something's not right. Jack tried to keep his breathing steady, but deep down, he felt it too. A growing unease, an unnatural stillness in the air, like the forest itself was holding its breath. Then they found the bunker gear, stacked neatly in perfect order, helmets, turnout coats, boots, lined up as if the firefighters had simply stepped out of them and vanished. Jack's heart pounded in his chest. "This doesn't make any sense," Emily said, reaching out and touching one of the helmets. It was still warm. A sudden crackle from their radio made them both jump. "We're still here!" The voice was distant, distorted, yet unmistakable. Jack recognized it immediately. It belonged to Captain Harris, the man they'd been sent to rescue. Emily fumbled with the radio. "Captain, where are you?" Static. Then the voice again, clearer this time. "Help us!" Jack turned in a slow circle, his flashlight barely cutting through the thick smoke. "Where are you?" he shouted into the darkness. But there was no answer, just silence. And then, soft whispers. Emily grabbed his arm, her face pale. "Jack, we need to go." By the time they reached the ambulance, the fire had shifted dangerously close, embers raining down around them. They loaded what they could, helmets, radios, anything that might explain what happened. But the question hung heavy in the air. Where was Engine 47's crew, and why had they left everything behind? Days turned into weeks, and the mystery of the missing firefighters consumed the station. Search efforts turned up nothing, no bodies, no additional evidence. It was as if they had been swallowed by the fire itself. Jack found himself unable to sleep, replaying the night over and over in his head. The voices on the radio haunted him. Then one night, as he sat alone in the break room, it happened again. The station's radio crackled to life on its own, filling the quiet room with a wave of static. Jack froze, and then, beneath the static, came the whisper. "We're still here." His hands trembled as he reached for the mic, his voice barely a whisper. "Captain Harris?" The static intensified, and for a brief moment, he could swear he heard the crackling of flames in the background, and distant voices. "The fire? It's still burning." Jack's blood turned to ice. A loud pop echoed through the station, and the radio cut off abruptly. Jack sat frozen in his chair, staring at the radio, knowing deep down that whatever had happened to Engine 47, it wasn't over. A week later, the firefighters' helmets they'd collected were moved to a memorial display at the station. Jack stared at them, feeling the weight of guilt pressing down on him. And then he saw it. A thin layer of ash had formed on the helmets overnight, despite the fact that they had been thoroughly cleaned. Emily noticed it too, her voice barely above a whisper. "Jack, do you think they're trying to come back?" He didn't answer, but as he walked back to his locker, he heard it again, soft and distant, carried through the quiet hum of the station. "We're still here. Some fires, it seemed, could never be put out,